So when you've done those checks, next you want to look at the drone itself. Just give it a quick once over underneath all the propellers, making sure there's no debris stuck to each one. This will reduce the performance of the drone. It may even give it a little bit of a shake or a wobble, which won't be apparent by looking at the drone, but when you retrieve your video, you will notice that later on. Okay, now we're ready to fly. So in this screen here, you click the arrow on the bottom right corner. Okay, and that shows you the HUD of what the drone can see. So you can take off by hitting the green button at the bottom, but it's worth mentioning that all the buttons on the Sky controller, they are representative of every single button that you can see on the screen of the iPad. So it's good to get in the habit of using these buttons. To take off, press this button here that looks like the up and down arrow. Next to that, we've got the return to home button. Return to home, when the drone has flown off, whether you can see the drone or not and it's still connected, press that button. The drone will descend or ascend to 20 meters or whatever height you've set in the software, and it will take a straight line back to you and fly directly overhead. Because we're indoors, we haven't got a GPS lock. But this down here, the radar looking thing, when you're outside it will show you a picture of a drone, or a generic drone, and then you'll know you've got a GPS lock, and this return to home feature will be activated. In the software itself, just press the cog button on the top left, and then you can see the interface settings. Most of these you won't need to fiddle with until you become much more experienced. In the piloting menu, you can change the inclination speed of the drone, so how fast it accelerates forward. The tilt speed, when it's banking, it changes how fast its cornering capability is. When you're going directly up, the max vertical speed is the one to adjust if you want it to ascend faster, and the rotation speed is the yaw of the drone. So when it's doing that, so again it increases the speed of that. I've got bank turn enabled on mine. So instead of steering with the yaw like that, so the drone will turn on its y-axis like so. With the bank turn, it will bank to the left or bank to the right. And it flies a little more like a plane in that respect. I personally think it's better, and it gives you more control over cornering. So in the safety section there, it's worth familiarising yourself with this. So it can happen when the drone disconnects itself from the Sky controller for whatever reason. Things like trees and buildings can have an adverse effect on the performance of the Wi-Fi. So it's saying here, if there's a delay with the connection between the two units, to wait 15 seconds, and after which the drone will automatically return itself to you. Again, it's worth noting that if there are any obstructions or obstacles such as trees or buildings, it won't take these into account. It won't follow the route that you took to fly there. It will take a dead straight line back to you, so it will hit those objects. So before you do take off, note what's around you. You can change the max altitude. I've got it on full. That's 150 meters straight up, due to safety and regulations by the CAA. This unit, that's the highest it can go. Other units like the Phantom, I believe they will go as high as they will go far. So that's about 2 kilometers. The distance is 2 kilometers, so I made a mistake here. I thought it was 2.2, but it's actually 2 kilometers. And you lose visual sight of the drone after about 800 meters, so it will fly a lot further than you can actually see. In the video section, so we can change it to 720p or 1080p. The video quality, we've got standard or we've got high. The frame rate, you can leave that at 30 frames per second. You don't want jumpy footage. And the anti-flickering mode, you can leave that on auto as well. In the network setting, you can change the channel that the Sky controller and the drone operate on. So we can see down here there's 1 to 11 channels of Wi-Fi, and it will flash where there's interference between 2.4 gig and 5 gig frequencies. So what we want to do is select a channel where there is the least amount of activity. So currently we've got it set on 1, and we can see that we are the only device using that. So with all those settings in mind, the only other thing to look at before you can take off is to familiarise yourself with what's going on down here, and the options down here will just show you how fast the drone's travelling, how high the drone is, how far the drone is away from you, and as I said earlier, the battery settings on the right hand side. So now we are ready to take off. So that completes the review of the Parrot Bebop 2 drone complete with Sky Controller. Before you go out and buy one of these, do your own research, look at other drones that are available. Others are better in some aspects but not quite as good in others. Drones like the DJI Phantom, they will allow you to go a lot higher. The video is a little bit clearer, but there's a lot of stuff on there that takes some expertise to get your head around and actually use the full capability of it. The Parrot is very intuitive, it's very smart and intelligent, and does allow a beginner to take to the skies very easily and take some truly fantastic footage. So yeah, as I said, if you like the video, please subscribe, and we look forward to speaking to you again soon.